In just a few decades, Party City has celebrated remarkable highs and suffered devastating lows. Just how can America's favorite party store tank their stock price from $34 to $3 per share? Ride a roller coaster back up to over $2 billion in profits, only to file for bankruptcy a few years later. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what caused these crazy twists and turns, and uncover just how Party City is planning its major comeback in late 2023. So back in 1986, there was this guy named Steve Mandel who spent the last 14 years of his life as the president of a firm that others would hire to sell their products. Steve Mandel was no ordinary president though. He was a sales consultant with a sharp eye. He noticed something interesting when a few of his clients asked for help to sell party supply products. During his research, he stumbled upon an intriguing gap in the market. There were no major competitors in the industry. Most people looking for party supplies only had a couple of choices: a retailer with a small party aisle or a scattered number of boutique specialty stores across the country. So what did Mandel do? He took action. With $125,000, he opened up a small store in East Hanover, New Jersey, and named it Party City. Mandel knew that Halloween would be a big part of the business, so he dedicated 1/4 of the store's space to Halloween items. The rest was filled with supplies for all kinds of parties. Turns out, he was right about the demand for a store like this, and it was successful from the get-go. After a couple of years, he started franchising the idea, and Party City began expanding rapidly. By 1993, Party City had 58 locations. Mandel saw the store's popularity nationwide and shifted from franchising to owning their stores. But they didn't slow down. Over the next 2 years, they added 90 more locations, making it a total of 148 stores, raking in over $23 million in sales and $1 million in profits. During this expansion, children's and themed parties also gained popularity. The best part? No major competitors entered the market. Party City was on a roll. In 1995, Party City went public, issuing 1.7 million shares at $10 each. They used the funds to open 52 more locations, and their revenue hit $48.5 million, with profits of $3.76 million. The following year, in 1997, they opened up 75 more stores, boosting their revenue to a whopping $141.7 million and profits of $7.7 million. Steve Mandel was still at the helm, and he had big plans, aiming for 1,000 to 1,500 locations soon. By early 1998, their stock had peaked to $34 from $10 a share. Sounds like a victory, right? But no, something wasn't quite right. Their rapid expansion had outpaced their ability to keep up with the systems they needed. One of those systems was inventory management. Now, that might not sound terrible, but here's where it gets dicey. You see, in the stock market, you can buy all the stocks you want, but how do you decide which ones will rise? Typically, you look at the reports they release, the so-called 10Ks. These reports contain all the important details about how the company is doing. The company compiles them, auditors come in to make sure they're accurate, and potential investors rely on them to decide whether or not to invest. And yes, inventory is a significant piece of that puzzle because it goes on the balance sheet, which investors use to gauge the company's health. Party City underestimated the importance of managing its inventory, which in the end caused some hiccups. For Party City, when it came time to produce their 1998 10K reports for investors, they couldn't pin down an accurate net inventory number. It turned out they weren't keeping a close eye on their inventory at all their stores. So you can imagine the chaos that followed. They had to postpone the report, and not just for a little while, but a whopping 4 months. They were on a wild goose chase to track down the right inventory numbers across nearly 300 locations nationwide. To make matters worse, Nasdaq had to step in and suspend trading of Party City stock in May 1999, and on July 20th, 1999, they were removed from the exchange. But the real trouble wasn't just the delisting. It was the ripple effect from that missing inventory number. When a company's report is delayed for months, investors tend to get pretty annoyed because they've got nothing to assess the company's health. The delayed 10K report led to a massive sell-off of Party City stock, causing prices to plummet and triggering a default with their creditors. By the time they finally managed to file the report, the damage was already done. Party City was severely battered by the market's reaction, and they couldn't meet their debt covenants. By July 1999, their stock had plunged from $34 to a meager $3. What's truly disheartening is how much this inventory mishap affected them. Previous investors even jumped in and filed class action lawsuits, alleging that some of the information in those reports was either false or misrepresented. They were in serious trouble with very little cash left to keep their business going. So what turned the storm for them? Well, three major things came into play. Firstly, they replaced Steve Mandel to start afresh. He was the chairman and CEO when all this happened. Though it remains unclear how much he was responsible for all of this, his departure restored confidence among the remaining investors. Secondly, they raised nearly $10 million by offloading a bunch of company-owned stores to franchisees. The third and most significant move was thanks to Michael Tenenbaum, an investor who orchestrated a massive deal that brought in another $37 million through the sale of stock warrants and loans. With these funds, the company got back on its feet, returned to the stock market, straightened out its inventory management, and relisted on the Nasdaq. By the end of the year, they had 393 locations. Fast forward to 2005, and they had crossed the 500 mark. They left the stock market when private equity firms scooped them up, joining forces with other companies to boost their business. This enabled them to become highly vertically integrated, meaning they own most of the business that supplies their products. Consequently, they've been able to keep product costs down by sourcing from companies within their own group. Now, in 2015, they went public again. By 2017, Party City had become the biggest party retailer in North America with over 850 outlets spread across the USA, with most of them setting up shop in New York and California. Today, you can find their products in stores all over the US, the UK, Canada, Germany, Mexico, Australia, and various other countries. To this day, Party City's primary focus remains on Halloween. While most retailers rely heavily on Christmas as their peak season, Party City dances to a different tune. They consider Halloween to be their Christmas. In fact, a whopping 20% of their total annual revenue typically rolls in during this spooky season. They went all in, further dominating the Halloween scene with Halloween City. They even bought a factory in Madagascar to whip up their own costume creations. Each holiday season, around 250 Halloween City locations pop up around the country, selling everything from costumes to decorations and treats. In 2017, there were 272 of them in the USA. In 2022, they decided to unveil 130 to 150 Halloween City pop-ups, which is a bump up from the previous year's 90 locations. That number, though, is still less than the 250 they had back in 2019, just before the pandemic hit. In 2023, Halloween spending is set to reach $12.2 billion, up from $10.6 billion the year before, according to the National Retail Federation. They did a survey and found out that over 70% of people were planning to join in on Halloween-related fun in 2023. They're looking to drop $3.9 billion on decorations, $3.6 billion on candy, $2 billion on adult costumes, and $1.4 billion on children's costumes, respectively. Now, with Halloween becoming a bigger deal every year, you'd think Party City would be having a blast, right? Well, here's the twist. Their grip on Halloween is loosening. As of early September, Party City only had 30 Halloween City locations open, as compared to the 250 they had in mind for 2019. It's like history is playing tricks on them again. Well, things were once getting again rough for Party City. In early 2023, rumors started swirling that the company was considering filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the USA. Those rumors grew into the truth, and they actually filed for bankruptcy on January 17, 2023.
Party City, which is the nation's largest party goods and Halloween specialty retail chain, has filed for bankruptcy protection now.
You might not be surprised to learn that the pandemic brought about major challenges for the company. They were left scrambling, defending their 800+ locations, racking up serious bills trying to keep them sustainable. Perhaps the writing was on the wall, as for years, changing consumer habits brought about fierce competition with the rise of e-commerce. Of course, the pandemic forced nearly everyone's hands to buy their goods online, and now with that being commonplace, Party City was brought to its knees one last time. But wait! Like a phoenix from the ashes, they secured $150 million in financing to keep their stores running. They're looking to speedily restructure and get rid of a bunch of debt, hopefully wrapping it up by the second quarter of 2023. Good news came on September 6, 2023. Party City announced that they've successfully completed their bankruptcy reorganization after a US judge gave them the green light.
The party is back on at Party City. The largest party supply store in the U.S. exited bankruptcy after a judge signed off on its reorganization plans.
They managed to slash over $1 billion of debt during the process. Most of their stores are staying open for now, but a few of the locations will remain closed throughout the rest of 2023. Particularly underperforming ones and those in less happening areas. It might seem like a rocky road, but with resilience and smart moves like these, Party City incredibly keeps the party alive. So, if Halloween spending actually reaches its colossal predictions of $12.2 billion, maybe Party City can survive another year. That being said, it might be a good idea to stock up on party supplies, as you never know what will happen next with this company. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you've learned something new. Catch you in the next one.